Hi, this is Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love, and I'm coming to you today, which this would have been a recorded video, except that I didn't have time to record it, fix it, and upload it, so I'm doing this one live. And I am so excited about this card. This is called a shutter card, and I'll show you the insides in a second. If you've never made one, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I don't know that I can do that, because that's how I was. And then Karen Bound, one of our team members, demoed this at our last meeting, and it was just so phenomenal. And so I decided today would be Shutter Card Day. So I'm going to walk you through. I'm not sure how long it will take with showing you everything, but it took me about 15 minutes to design the card from start to finish. So it's really a very quick process. You know how long designing can take sometimes. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera down and once again show you the card. I'm going to open, well, first I'm going to introduce the two stamp sets that I'm using, and I apologize for my lighting. So Layered with Kindness, let me flip this one and see if that helps. Layered with Kindness is the main stamp set that I'm using, and I'm using the punches that go with this set, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I pulled Itty Bitty Birthdays out because I needed a greeting to go on the inside, and you need something fairly small to fit inside of that shutter. So those are the two stamp sets we're using. Let me also show you some of the punches. So I'm using the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. You can use dies as well. And then, wow, this is just not showing well. Either too much light or not enough light. Which is it? Well, there, I'll just let you see that. You can see my camera above. So this is pretty label. I'm going to show you in the catalog actually, because I always forget what they're called. So I'm using Label Me Fancy. They came out together, which is this one. That's Label Me Fancy, and Label Me Lovely. So these two right here that are on page 166 in the catalog. Okay. Let me put those back. And then the colors I'm using, I put together Just Jade, Mint Macaron, because I love those two together, and then I added a touch of Cajun Craze. I didn't really want it to be an all-out fall card, but I love how Cajun Craze pairs with these two colors. So let me introduce you to the actual shutter mechanism. So I'm going to take the belly band off, and when I open it, look what happens. So there's a shutter here that actually opens the card so that you can see what the saying is inside. How cool is that? So let's get started. I wanted to promise you that this is so easy, and I will definitely be doing a blog post with all of the measurements, excuse me, and everything, so that you don't have to even think about it. Okay, so first I'm going to bring in my scoring tool, because we have a lot of scoring to do, well, a little bit of scoring to do, and some measurements. So my base card is the Just Jade, and it's a typical card size, 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm not sure why I'm like, okay. And I'm going to score that at 2 1/8 from each end. So I'm going to come in 1 inch, 2 inches, and 1/8 of an inch. And then down here at 2 1/8. And then that can be folded, so it should meet directly in the center. You want to make sure that it does that. If your scoring is off just a little bit, you can fix that if you need to. It looks like mine is off just a hair. Okay, so that's ready. Next, I have the inside shutter pieces, and you need 2 of those, and they are 3 inches by 3 3/4 of an inch. And on the long side, you're going to score at 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to come in 1, 2, 3 notches, and I'm going to score that. And once again, 1, 2, 3 notches, and score there. Let's see, I think that's all the scoring oh no, I want to score my belly band. So the belly band I did in mint macaron as well as these two inside pieces. And I did it at 1.5 inches by 9. Now, I'm going to score it at 2.5 because, as you know, we scored this at 2.25. So my front piece is, 2.125. So my front piece is 2.125. So 2.5 is going to go a little bit past that. I want it to overlap, of course, so I can glue it together. So 2.5, and then I just want to walk you through this so you can think about this while you're making something. I need the back of the band to be 4.25 because that's how wide my card is. That's how wide a basic card is. But I also want to remember that there's going to be a lot of fullness in this card. So what I did was I came over 4.25 inches, which is the width, if I said that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/4. But like I said, it's going to be a little bit more. So I say 4.25 and a hair, okay? So that's my saying. So I'm going to go to the next 1/8 of an inch, but I'm going to scoot my paper over just a little bit so that it's not clear against the edge. Because I don't want a full 1/8, I want about a 1/16. So I'm going to move it about halfway, and then I'm going to score that. It's not written in stone. It's not extremely important because you can always fold it in. And I'm going to go ahead and try that and see how that works because we do need to stamp on that then. There you go. That works perfectly. Now, of course, I don't have any insides in here yet. Okay, so scoring is finished. I do want to work on these tabs next. So let me get rid of this. And I am going to bring in my grid paper because we need to make some marks on here. So I'm going to use my pencil. And I need to mark in, I want to do little tag ends on here or banner ends. And so to do that, you can do it so many ways, whatever works for you. But I'm going to divide this in half, so it's 3 inches wide. So I'm going to come at the 1.5, and I'm going to come up here to about 1 3/4. So I'm looking at this. I guess you can't see that. Hold on a second. Let me scoot up here. So I'm coming in here at 1.5 because it's 3 inches wide. And you see my score line is up here, so I'm not doing it on the score end. And then I'm going to come up here to about 1 3/4. So I want to put this right in the center at about 1 3/4. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. However, I want to show you something then. So 1.5 up to 1 3/4, just to give me an idea where the center is. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these two together. And I'm going to cut straight up from the bottom. So once again, score line is up here, and I'm going to cut straight up here. Actually, what I might do is give myself a mark here just to make sure that I'm starting on a center. There we go. Now I make sure I'm starting on the center, and I can sort of let myself go. I'm going to go a little side of that because it looks like it's off. And then I just want to come from this corner, right at the corner, and go straight in to that cut mark. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Start at this sharp corner, and I'm going to cut as straight as I can into that cut mark, or to that mark. There you go. So now I have 2 flagged pieces. Now, before I forget, because I sometimes forget this in the panic of making sure I have everything in order, I'm going to use my messy piece to stamp on, just because I don't want to make that piece messy right now. All right, so I'm going to put tear and tape along here, but I want to do a little bit of stamping here because I wanted a little more interest on the inside. So this little stem is from, and this is like a detailed look. So I'm going to stamp this right here at the edge of my shutter. Look how pretty that is. And then one here. There we go. And it looks like that light's not working. That's lovely. Okay. So, and then let's go ahead while we're working on that. I did stamp on the band as well. So I'm going to just come in here, and I just sort of did like an up and down. So I turned it around and tried not to overlap, and just filled in the two front pieces here. You'll see that the stamping and prep stuff takes a whole lot more time than putting the shutter together. All right, and while I have that open, let me go ahead and stamp my tag for the front. And that's using this stamp from the set that I just showed you, Layered with Kindness. I'm going to stamp that there, and then I'm going to stamp it again, the same color, on a piece of mint macaron. And that's how we're going to layer this. I looked at this stamp and I went, okay, I know this fits the Label Me Lovely punch, but I saw these markings in here and I thought, oh, that looks like the size of the Label Me Fancy punch. So I found that they go nicely together and make a nice layering. So let me cut Label Me Lovely with this one. And then I will cut Label Me Fancy. Actually, I'm going to have to go in from the side here, so let me snip this. Now this punch has a slot for like a bow or like a ribbon if you want to make a tag, and then it has a little hole as well. So this has 3 different punches to it, but I don't need those right now. I just need this piece. So I'm going to line those up with the little lines that are on the stamp and punch that out. Hey, welcome to you guys that are joining me. This is exciting. I know I didn't plan this to be a live today, but it just turned out to need to be that way. Okay, so let's see. Do I need to do any more stamping? Well, let's go ahead and stamp the saying, because another thing you want to make sure that you do is put this down before you put everything else together. And sometimes, in fact, many times the girls that I've watched do this would forget to put this down, and that's really crooked, although it probably doesn't matter because you're not going to see the square inside. I just want to tell you this is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, or you can punch a circle, whatever you want to do. The edges of this are not going to show in the shutter. Okay, I just lost a piece. Let me find it here. All right, lost one of my shutters. Okay, guys, I think I have everything stamped and ready to go. Let's put this baby together. We close the ink pad. Oh, you know what? I lied. There's one more thing I wanted to do. So on this card, I'm using Gilded Autumn paper, and you know how gorgeous that is, and I just love it. But I wanted to use one of the other pieces, and I thought it was pretty cool that the little leaves here look very similar to the punch. So I felt like these went well together. And so, but I didn't like the color. So I'm going to try to change that, and I can't promise you what it's going to look like because I didn't try this yet. But this is going to be like an emboss resist, because when you put dye ink over top of embossing, the embossing is going to resist it. It might be a little darker than I wanted, but we'll see. I think I like that. Okay, so there's the difference. Let's see how it looks on here. Oh, that doesn't look bad at all. I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the other one. Not like I couldn't do the other one, right? I sort of committed there. And it lays down so nice. I'm just really excited about this. And you probably should take a tissue and just wipe over the top so that the ink that's laying on the embossing doesn't get everywhere. However, I don't have a tissue right here, so a jean skirt would probably work, so let's do that. I'll do a Sarah and a Shelley. Okay. All right, now I'm ready. Let me just get my stamps and stuff out of the way because I want to be able to get it on the screen better for you guys. All right, so here we are with our card. We do need one thing yet, and we need some tear and tape because this mechanism is going to move constantly. You want to make sure that you have used a very good adhesive. And since this is pretty narrow, the tear and tape fits on here nicely. You could use our Stampin' Seal Plus, but I would probably make a little wider piece on that if I was gonna use that. Okay, so there's one, and here's the other. I'm really trying to beat the clock here, guys. I said 10 minutes, and I'm hoping that I can do it. All right, so one thing to remember is that these things are going to overlap like this. You see that? See how that looks like a shutter when they're overlapped? I've seen people do them like this, but I think it looks really cool if you overlap them. So they're going to go in there. There's one other thing we need to do, and that's we need to put our center together. This is our inside that covers the shutter. And I'm going to just put adhesive around the edges here. So here, top and bottom, maybe sides a little bit, and then maybe just a little bit down here. I don't want to put too much there where I'm going to punch the circle, actually. I think I want to punch it up here, so it's all right. It's going to be glued together. Now, I haven't tried to punch through this paper, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not worried where this is going to go because it's not going to matter. I'm going to put this wherever this hole is, okay? So this is, let me just tell you the measurements of this. I just threw away my measurement paper. So this centerpiece is, the cardstock is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the designer paper is 3 by 5 1/4. So I should be able to take this punch and just run it in the whole way and punch that. Now for my sample, I did use the dies. So like I said, you can use dies or punches, whatever works for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and prepare this to put down. And what I did was I placed 3 dimensionals, 3 large dimensionals across the top and 3 across the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and pull off the bottom. And that way one end will be sticking, but not necessarily all of it. And that way I can keep my center. You need to know where, like I said, where this hole goes in order to determine where these are going to go. All right. And so I want them to open right in the center of that circle. So that's about where I want them to be. I'm going to go ahead. I didn't put my saying in there yet. I just want to, I'm thinking about that. I'm being aware of that, and that's still really crooked, but hopefully I can straighten it up in there. Now what I want to do is start pulling off these sides, and I'm just going to do one at a time. And I need to have this inside of that fold line, just a hair, because, well, it's going to push it in if you don't have it in. So I'm going to go ahead, I have that fairly straight there. I'm going to go ahead and press that down. And this one needs moved in just a little bit. And you can see that I have a hole there in the middle of my shutter. If you want that to be closed, you might want to change your measurements a little bit when you cut that. Instead of going up 1 3/4 of an inch, you might go up a little bit more. But if you don't go up enough, then that's going to hit and grab. So I don't care about that too much, because when somebody opens the card, that shutter's already opening. So they're not even going to see, like once this is closed, you're not even going to see that. All right, so now I'm ready to close that one and make sure that these are sticking down really well. Now, if these are not perfect, it doesn't matter because they're all underneath the centerpiece. Okay, so now I'm ready to stick this in, and that's why I did not glue that top down, because now I can see where my hole is, and I can slide that in there, and I can put that directly in my hole. And I'm going to just sort of put the center in there and lay that down. And then I'm going to open it to make sure that I have it straight. And it looks like I could bring it over just a little bit more, so I can line that up So that's the open version, and I like that. So there it goes. Okay, so how quick and easy is this, guys? I'm going to put the top down, take off these dimensionals, the covers, I mean, and my trash can's way over there. And stick that down, and voila, there it is. That is it, guys. How easy is that? Do you like it? Okay, let's go ahead and finish our front. I'm pretty sure that was less than 10 minutes. Now, it might take a little bit longer to get this part finished, but excuse me, we have everything stamped so that it shouldn't take too long. And okay, and then we're ready to put on the belly band, and it just overlaps a little bit there, so I'm going to put some adhesive right here. You might want to use tear and tape. We'll see how this will be a good test to see how this, just the Stamp and Seal, holds. So you don't even actually need to glue that. I did not glue this one. What I did was I put, okay, I'm missing some pieces here. I put dimensionals on either side here, and then that just held it in place. So let me go ahead and do that. So that'll be a little extra hold there. And 4. So I put 2 on each side, and I want the fold to go right down here in the center. And of course I want to line these up with the center here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put 2 dimensionals on this. Actually, I might put 3 because I'm adding a little something to the center of this, and I want those dimensionals to really hold this in place. So I wanted to add some of our cording, which comes out of the holiday catalog. It's gold cording, and I just felt that this needed a little bit of interest. So I just wrapped that like 2 times around my fingers. And then what I did was I just, in here where this is going to be covered with that tag, I went ahead and put some adhesive. And then I just started forming this, like making some little loops, bringing it back, making a loop, bringing it back to the center, tacking it down, make a loop, and finally make a loop and tack it down. Now, obviously that tape is not going to hold that in place, but all of these dimensionals that I have put on here are going to help with that. Now I'm going to line this up in the center where it came from this previous design, and I'm going to put that right on there like that. And that is it, guys. How quick and easy is that? So like I said, by the end of today, I promise to have this up on my blog, and I will try to post it under the video, the link, so that you have all the measurements that you need. If you didn't catch all of them, or if I didn't give them all to you, I'm not sure if I covered everything with the measurements, but I hope that you will go and try it. Let's just take another peek. Here we go. Voila. Wouldn't somebody love getting that card? So I'm going to see who I can send this to today. See who has the closest birthday. If you have a birthday close, make sure you post here and let me know. Hi, Karen. How did I do with your card? So Karen's on. I'm excited. She's the one that taught me how to do this. So, all right, guys. I'm just going to come back up here and say goodbye to you. I'm so excited that you joined me today. Hope you had fun. I hope that you will check this out and grab some of your paper, grab whatever supplies you have, and try it out. If you need any of the supplies that I have showed you today, you can go to my store and find those. I will be including a link to all of those in my blog post by this evening. All right, take care. Have a good day. God bless.